Get the Friendo Club set up today and get access to over 700 Going in Raw bonus episodes, our monthly Big Blue predictions challenges, and the ability to ask questions at Going in Raw. We also offer the Steven Larson comic book and exclusive Friendo Club t-shirt. Just hit join here at youtube.com/Steven Larson or go to patreon.com/Steven Larson to sign up. Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
Hey, Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast. Oh, whoa, sorry. You know, man, sometimes it's muscle memory. Steven Larson's Pro Wrestling Podcast. Ruining pro wrestling since 2014, ever since I became the new predictions champion, Larson. My goodness, I've been so distracted. I think that's why I messed up the intro just now. I've had so many sponsorship deals coming my way. This predictions challenge is a big deal. It can net you some really serious coin.
Wow, I missed out on those opportunities. How come my phone wasn't ringing off the hook?
You know, you got to put yourself out there a little bit, and, you know,
I don't do that.
I hired a PR firm to the tune of much money.
That's not coming out of our collective.
Well, I mean, yeah, kind of, because we're like an entity. So
I'm not benefiting from it, so why?
Right. There's some, it's to be discussed off camera. Today's episode, of course, we're going to be talking about WWE Raw from this week on the road to Money in the Bank. This is all in advance of the coronation of Steve here as a predictions champion on Friday. Larson will put this on
a story of not just Steven Larson Pro Wrestling Podcast, but all of wrestling.
Yeah, pretty much. We were just talking in the pre-show about WWE counter programming, pulling a WWF Jim Crockett situation. The only counter program around here that matters a damn is the coronation. Nobody better program against the coronation than Steve here, Larson.
Well, if that's what we're doing, we got to run it opposite SmackDown then.
Oh, no. Okay, bluff called. Oh, anyways, no, we're not going to talk about me. We're going to talk about WWE Raw, of course, because we've got more entrants now in the Money in the Bank match. After last night, Seth Rollins, Larson, is this just going to be him? Is it just going to be Seth Rollins? We got him, we got LA Knight, we got Penta, and we got
Solo
Sikoa. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We'll talk about the other matches that are going to be like for the qualifiers in a second here.
Yeah, because we got Jacob, Mello, and Andrade happening on SmackDown. And that's going to be a good one. Another one next Monday on Raw, potentially with CM Punk in it.
You would think that might be the case, yeah. So, given all that, who's going to win this thing?
Based on the names either already in the match or announced for... it's Seth. You got to think it's Seth. Who else?
Okay, so we got Seth, LA Knight, Penta... and then Solo,
and probably, I don't know, it's either Mello or Jacob Fatu.
Mello, Jacob. So if it's Jacob, him and Solo kind of cancel each other out, don't they?
You'd think so, yeah.
If it is Punk, do him and Seth cancel each other out?
Not necessarily, because this ladder match, Braun and Bronson can get involved to help Seth.
Okay, all right, that's actually a really good point. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have the one last one on Raw, which, Sammy, you get Sammy in there.
No, Sammy was in the match last night.
Oh, dude, yeah, he was in the match last night, him and Finn, who, bizarre that he's not making it in there.
No, I don't think it's bizarre at all. In fact, he ate the pin. Neither of which are surprising.
That good guy, he got stomped on a chair.
Yeah.
Hey, strong protected loss for Finn Balor getting stomped on a chair.
Loss nonetheless, Steve.
Hell. Glass half full. Yeah, that push is coming. I'm trying to find an argument against Seth. Seth laid out his plan last night. You got the June 9th match with Gunther and Jey Uso. I understand the idea that go for a younger person, but we've seen how they book younger people. Like Tiffany made a lot of sense, but there's kind of a youth movement right now with the women that's actually pretty successful. The men, it's a bunch of old dudes that ain't giving up their spot anytime soon. As much as I would love it to be Penta, I don't know if I see that.
Yeah.
Solo would be hilarious given like his current character, but there's no way they're going to do that.
No. No.
Jacob, I mean, look, out of all the potential names that we have now, if we're going to go like younger or somebody who hasn't won the world title, Jacob's the guy. Jacob, within a year, easily, oh my God, easily could be in the Rollins position from 2014, right?
Yeah. But if this was Money in the Bank 2026, I'd say his odds are much better. He just won that U.S. title. Not to say you can't have the U.S. championship and the briefcase. I don't think it's happened before where anybody who had the mid-card title also was Money in the Bank briefcase holder. But since he is, assuming he makes it to the ladder match, since he is already a champion, I would think, Pontius says Miz. Was Miz Intercontinental Champion when he won the Money in the Bank? Or is Pontius just saying Miz should be in the ladder match?
Maybe he's just saying Miz. He's just
Miz gave up his spot
Miz.
potentially, so Melo could have the qualifier.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I wouldn't. I don't see anybody from SmackDown winning it, honestly.
Oh, so Miz had the U.S. title on Money in the
Bank.
Okay.
Thank you for Forgotten Media. That's what I wasn't watching. I don't see anybody from SmackDown winning it, honestly, because I feel like what they're doing with Cena is mapped out, and it's not going to involve the Money in the Bank cash-in, except if Drew McIntyre were to be in it. That might change my thought process, but he's not going to be in it because the SmackDown qualifier on Friday is the last qualifier for SmackDown. Yeah. There should be one more qualifier on Raw.
Yeah.
So unless somebody is in it like Punk or Roman or another main event level name like Seth has to be the obvious winner.
That's why
it plays in the story they're telling with him. It's like almost too obvious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. That's why I don't like it.
I know, me too.
But I would put money on it.
I would
totally put money on it. The women's, I don't know. When Rhea won, I was like, oh, it might be Rhea, but maybe not. I kind of feel like her story right now is like, how the hell do I get back on top? And maybe that includes a heel. But that would be such a stupid move for her to do a cash-in.
Opportunistic cash-in.
An opportunistic cash-in. Yeah. That'd be so dumb.
Yeah.
Given that they're making Seth like the guy on Raw, the big bad, who makes a lot of good points. And he's got his stepped up J&J security now. Mm-hmm. with Braun and Braun injury specialist. Yeah, I mean, it feels like if they're going to use Money in the Bank as a big storytelling device, which, I mean, they kind of just used it for Drew McIntyre's story last year in a very quick fashion. It was just boom, done. If they want a more involved Money in the Bank scenario now, and if they want to turn Gunther face, which they might do against Seth, let's say Seth cashes in. Let's say Jay and Gunther have just a killer match on the 9th. It's just a drag out, really good thing. And Jay does the thing where he earns Gunther's respect.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all beat up. Seth comes running out, maybe after Gunther makes his leave, but it's the kind of thing where Seth and him cross paths, and Gunther's like, "Nah, I'm not into that. That sort of violates the sacred mat." And then he stops Seth from cashing in, and maybe they get a feud out of it.
I mean, that's the second part of this, I think, is Seth wins the briefcase. June 9th is the day where something is going to happen regarding that briefcase, whether a successful cash-in or not. Now, if Seth wins, there is potentially a line of people who would be eager to stymie his cash-in.
Mm-hmm, sure.
At the front of that line would be CM Punk. Probably right behind Punk is Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn, yeah.
And I could go on and on with probably Roman Reigns would be in that line as well. You could go on and on about the people who would be motivated to try to stop Seth from cashing in. So it could be a situation where in the middle, I feel like if Seth is going to try to cash in, it's not going to be after Jay versus Gunther is over. I think it's going to be while the match is happening.
Oh, make it a triple threat?
Yeah. And you could have this wildly overbooked finish where you have Punk come out. All right, Braun and Bronson, they beat him up. All right, Sammy's out next. Same thing. Maybe Roman returns.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets to the point where the numbers are too much for Seth and his group to necessarily handle. It's just a wild, chaotic scene. And at that point, it's anybody's ball game,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right, yeah.
Maybe they would do something like that. I don't know. Yeah. But at this point, I don't see anybody other than Seth winning.
The only other one that makes any sense to me is Jacob, and obviously we don't know who's going to be in the last qualifier. If it's Drew McIntyre, I think that would actually make a lot of sense too. But apparently he's going to be off TV for a while, which makes sense because he's got concerto, you know.
Well, then he had that nasty spot where he banged his head on the floor.
If they want to do the thing where they put it on a guy and push, you know, it's like not give him a push, you know, just wait on it. Then to me it's Jacob. But because it's like, how do you look at that guy and not see that a year from now he can be? Because there's the thing, you talk about the Cena thing, and you're right, but that's only going to last till January.
Yeah.
So you still have 6 months after that, where you can still cash in.
Well, it's between the Cena stuff being booked out and them making a point of booking that title match the night or the Raw after Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I agree with that
too. Those two things
in
combination, it seems like it's going to be someone from Raw, and there's going to be a cash-in attempt.
Yeah, in which case you're right. In which case Seth makes all the sense in the world. It would be nice if they just, I don't know, didn't do that necessarily, though. But you're right. Like the June 9th date, we've been saying, there's going to be a cash-in attempt. Something's going to happen there. Whether it's Logan Paul, who's now not even going to be in it because he's going to be in the main event of Money in the Bank. Yeah. So that's good. But yeah, Seth makes all the sense in the world. You know, if you're going to try to go big with everything right now, you put it on a guy who's right now, not a guy who's maybe the tomorrow, you know? So I kind of feel that.
I'm looking at the roster here on Raw, trying to think who might be in the last qualifying match. So obviously there's Punk. There's Sheamus. There's Rusev.
You got Cross.
Yeah.
He gets good pops.
I don't think he's going to be involved in that, honestly.
He's got pops.
Dom maybe in a qualifier. Or unless they'd have... Well, AJ. I guess AJ could be a qualifier, too. Unless Seth's like, all right, I need my dudes, or one of my dudes in this match to watch my back. So either Braun or Bronson, you get a qualifier, you know?
Yeah, that could be. That could be as well. Yeah, I don't know about Sheamus and Rusev. You know, they had their thing, which could mean they're in the qualifier together with a third name, with a CM Punk or something like that. But I kind of feel like they're on Rusev Island right now.
Yeah, it does seem that way. Yeah.
So I don't know. So yeah. Anyways, like we said, of course, dude, this Friday, the coronation. Steve here, new predictions champion. Larson's going to physically put the shirt on me and the hat on me. And that's all in advance of the June predictions challenge. And of course, the biggest question we've ever had in predictions history, who's going to dethrone Steve? This is the new story that we got going on here, man.
Well, I guess the previous top question is, will Steve ever win? That's been answered. To the affirmative.
Oh, by the way, and I plan to address this in my lengthy coronation speech. I'm talking lengthy. We're talking William Henry Harrison lengthy. In the bitter cold, of course, went on to have a wonderful presidency back in the day. It's going to be a very lengthy speech. I've seen a really disappointing number of, and I'm going to call every single one out.
Well, it'd be like Jordan's Hall of Fame induction speech, huh?
Well, people saying that I cheated at predictions.
Okay.
Cody
I'm going to put this to rest.
Cody had to go on there to try to put it to rest.
So there's no cheating involved in Steve's win. All right? I know this for a fact. And if there's anybody who'd be motivated to call out Steve for cheating, it'd be me. Because I don't like seeing him succeed.
Unless, well, I'm glad that you actually spoke the truth there. Unless you were in on it.
Why would I be in it? I want to be the only one that's predictions champion.
Why would I bring that up even?
Yeah. There's no cheating. See, but this is what happens when you have a history of lying to the people, Steve.
May I ask you, when's the last time I lied to the people, Larson?
Oh, I mean, if I really thought about it, probably something within the last 6 months. Let's just put that narrative to rest. No cheating.
Yeah, dude, honestly, like this is I was as shocked as anybody when I ended up winning this thing. I was like, this is like one of our biggest groups too, 385 people. My goodness gracious. So yeah, there was no shenanigans. Here's the thing. This is the thing, and this is dropping the clown facade for a second. We do take this shit very seriously.
We do.
And the entire time when Larson was talking me up saying, I believe in you, I was legitimately saying, shut up, because I don't want to turn this into a story, because it's never going to be finished, because I simply don't stand a chance, because I never really have.
All right. So Die Hard Homer has a list of things you've tried to pull.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Purple iPhone.
That was 2 years ago.
The 300 bowling game.
Maybe that was almost 3 years ago was the purple iPhone.
The fact that you bowled 300, or the quote-unquote fact you bowled 300.
Well, let me put it this way, because I still maintain that I did. However, that claim was like 5 years ago.
But it's one that's been brought up from time to time.
Sure.
Stealing Big Red.
That was like 10 years ago.
It wasn't even that long. No, it was maybe 5.
It was 2018.
All right, so 7 years ago. And then Die Hard Homer here says predictions, but I can speak with authority that there's no cheating involved.
Unless you were involved in the cheating.
Why would I be involved in the cheating?
Why would I bring that up?
I know. Well, it's one of those things where if you bring it up, then obviously it can't be possible.
Right, yeah. Oh, man. So
like I said, I don't want to see Steve succeed.
Oh, the short film, that's you and me. That's us both. And that wasn't a lie. That was an ambition that we're still going to do.
Yeah, that's not a mistruth. That's just us kind of forgetting about it.
Well, I haven't forgot. You forget about it. I haven't forgotten about it. I just haven't bothered to start working on it. However, this is all in advance of the June Money in the Bank Predictions Challenge. The winner will have. This is such a good looking case right here.
Hold on. Mr. Sinister has one more mistruth. When you put Cody's the lyrics to Cody's theme on your wall and claim that you memorized the song.
All right, you kind of caught me on that one, so I did
because you didn't take them down the next time I was over at your house.
Yeah, because honestly, I did that on purpose to see if you would notice.
Yeah.
Anyways, Friendo in the bank. Enough of this Steve slander. Enough of this Money in the Bank. The Friendo in the Bank attaché case. Look at this. This thing is a work of art, man. And it's like, to the people watching, this looks like mustard, but it's actually a really bright green volt.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's really beautiful. And this is going to be on the line. Once the cash-in actually happens, I will physically send this to the winner. But until they cash in, it's going to be chock full of the numbers, which, I'll be pulling for the stuff.
Are you going to put any like wrappers from fast food or Little Debbie's or something in there?
I mean, hey, I'm not going to spoil that, but that's always a possibility. Might be some other stuff in here. So the June Predictions Challenge is for the briefcase. What's going on in June? We've got Money in the Bank, and what else do we have?
I think it's just Money in the Bank. I don't think there's any other paper. Oh, wait, Night of Champions is end of June.
Okay, all right. So we'll do that.
Okay,
we'll do that. So yeah, we got that going on for June. Of course, the way to enter the Predictions Challenge and see if you can be the one to dethrone Steve here, the new Tribal Chief, by going to patreon.com/Steven Larson, clicking on the Friendo Club setup, or by clicking join right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Let's get back to it, man.
Hold on. I just had a thought.
Yeah, what?
What if you repeat? No one's repeated before.
If I repeat, I'll just find a way. I'll just cash in if I'm close again, right?
Yeah.
No,
just the fact that you repeated.
Oh,
after taking so long for you to win, then you.
Oh, don't bring that up. No, listen. I will guarantee this.
Steve,
this is my lone reign. This is my lone reign. This will never happen. That's why I'm going to juice as much as I can out of this, because it will never, ever happen again. I am not all of a sudden some sort of, prognosticator supreme. I am no Nostradamus. No way Stradamus is me. Ain't gonna happen.
No Steve Damas.
You got that right, buddy.
No, I'm happy for you, Steve, and I think you're going to do it again. This is from the heart. I couldn't be happier for you.
I actually kind of believe that you're happy about it because it does give us content, and that just means
I'm happy because
more money.
You wanted something that you wanted to achieve, and you achieved it.
I didn't even want to achieve it.
No,
I really
didn't.
I think you did. I don't get my hopes up for stuff that I know I can't have. Anyways, can we go back to talking about Raw, please? Can we please go back to talking about Raw now?
Why?
Because it's kind of what we're here to do.
Oh, we can't just talk about. You're trying to make this huge deal about your coronation. I'm trying to have a larger conversation about it.
Let's talk about Money in the Bank, Larson.
All right, fine.
Seth and Penta qualified for Money in the Bank, but not before Penta dropped Chad Gable right on his face.
It was a rough night for Chad Gable. It was that.
It was.
He got busted open from a kick. And then that power bomb that Dragon Lee gave him where he landed right on the top or the bottom of his neck and the top of his shoulders. It was a rough night for Chad Gable.
It was. Dude,
I don't know why Chad, he was looking like this when Penta was doing that spot.
Yeah, I don't know what that spot was supposed to be.
Well, Penta's done that before. It's the package pile driver type deal where he does the gory bomb with the person on his back. He's done that before.
Do you think it was like Styles Clash muscle memory being in that position?
Maybe.
Because like I obviously he's supposed to tuck his chin and take it on the top of the shoulders.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was a rough one. That was a really rough one.
That was scary, yeah.
That was super scary. But he seemed okay afterwards. But yeah, he was beat to hell by the end of Raw last night.
Yeah, he was.
Chad Gable's kind of a low-key MVP this year. Like, number one, he's in better shape now than he's ever been. He looks phenomenal.
He does.
And did you get the WWE spoiled the fact that they're taking that title off Alberto ASAP?
Yeah. Not
because
surprising.
now the World's Collide match is going to be for the mega title.
Yeah.
Between Vikingo and, or as they're calling him now, Vikingo and Chad Gable.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, Seth opens up Raw with a promo. It's kind of a long one. Heyman kicks things off. He talks about the Terminator, which was interesting. He says if Skynet sent a Terminator, he asks who's going to main event the next, 8 WrestleManias, he'd say Braun Breaker. And I'm like, is Terminator programmed with popular culture in nature? With popular culture knowledge? I don't know.
Apparently.
Never got that. He says, I'll put my reputation and Seth's on the line. That's not a prediction. That's a spoiler. He also mentioned that CM Punk isn't there. He said that's all thanks to Big Bronson Reed. He said WWE would never put him with top-tier talent because they were afraid of him, not just the front office, but the actual talent. He says, why? Because he's too reckless and a violent man in a PG era, putting down everybody in front of him. He said, what did he do? He went after the future of this industry. He targeted Seth. And one night he put a beating on Seth more than Roman ever did in a decade, more than Punk has ever done in a career one night. Seth fought Roman and CM Punk in a handicap match, and they couldn't do the damage Bronson Reed did to him. He said, so get down on your hands and knees and thanks to the heaven above for the altruism of this man to my right. His sacrifice he's willing to make for every single one of you, so the trajectory of the industry is bigger than ever before. So basically he's saying Seth sacrificed his own pride because this dude beat the shit out of him. Because he recognizes,
Because Seth was impressed.
Exactly. And he says in the end, he's the future of this entire industry. Ladies and gentlemen, acknowledge Seth Rollins. I saw a great take on Twitter in the few moments that I spent on it this morning. Somebody said, Seth's just putting together his own bloodline because he's always been jealous of Roman Reigns. I like that. I thought that was pretty good.
Could be, because Heyman made a bloodline reference as well during his promo.
Yeah, he did. He referenced bloodline early, yeah.
So Seth takes the mic, says, make no mistake about it, Tampa, this is the vision. This is my vision. This is the way forward. This is how we secure the future of the industry. We do it through total control, total domination, complete power. I sold out the who. Are you out of your minds? I haven't changed a bit. I told you exactly what I was going to do at WrestleMania, and I did it. You're questioning my integrity right now, and need I remind you, less than 5 minutes is where everybody's chanting, fuck you, Seth. Less than 5 minutes ago, everyone was singing my song. Now you chant these profanities at me and question my integrity. You people, you morons, don't even know right from left what's good for you, but you're telling me I'm the bad guy here, that I don't deserve the power? I'm the only one who does. Who can lead this company into the future? The only one capable of wielding that power. That power comes through championships. I would be standing here, your world heavyweight champion, if it wasn't for Sami Zayn and CM. So the Punk chant starts. And he says, CM Punk found out Saturday exactly what happens when you underestimate me. Sami Zayn will figure that out tonight. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I found something more powerful than championships. I have an object that allows me to control the fate of those championships. So he looks up, sees the briefcase. He says, I'm going to qualify for my bank. I'm going to win the contract, and I'm going to cash in. But here's the beauty of it. I can do it whenever. I'll do it however I want. Cash in on whomever I want. And there's nobody who can stop me. This is complete domination. Total power.
Total
This is
power.
this is why I'm a visionary. I'm a revolutionary. Why I'm Seth freaking Rollins.
Total power. Yeah, that was a good one. Boy, a lot of people in chat have various instances of my deception here. Linda Taylor says, "Don't forget the can't pronounce Lyra
Yeah, and then you did it, and you're like,
Val
yeah, this is a bit.
Kyra." People bring up the depth guy video too. That's you and me. We got to both do that.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the window for that's passed.
Oh wow! Just put cold water all over that one. We also had a really fun Penta versus Chad Gable versus Dragon Lee match. That Dragon Lee suicide dive was absolutely bonkers. That was like rivaling like Phoenix or Darby, man.
Yeah.
That dude came out on fire. That was crazy.
Yeah, it was like launched out of a cannon.
Mm-hmm.
As mentioned, tough night for Chad Gable, taking that crazy spot from Penta. That power bomb from Dragon Lee didn't look like it was much fun either.
Yeah, that was rough too.
And then getting kicked in the face and then getting busted open by, I guess, the Vikingo kick. So the finish sees Dragon Lee put Penta on his shoulders. He fights out, looking for a Penta driver. And then Gable comes up behind him and German suplexes both of them.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And this wasn't one of those things where like they both jumped. Like he held them up for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was like a stalling German suplex. Both of them. It's heck of impressive. So he hits a moonsault after that, gets a 2. So then Dragon Lee is just sent flying to the corner after a belly-to-belly from Gable. Gable goes back up top, but then Vikingo, who was in the crowd, kicks him, puts him in the tree of woe. Dragon Lee hits a double stomp on Gable. Penta hits Lee with a destroyer and then follows with a Penta driver on Gable to get the win.
Yeah. Chad Gable, boy, putting in that work, getting the most out of it. So Sammy, we have backstage, talks about Seth Rollins here. Says, "I can't stand listening to them. They're out there running their mouths. I should have been out there myself." Jay shows up. He says, "For what? For it to be 1-on-3? We got to pick and choose our battles. This is how you stop me. Go out and you win that qualifier, snatch that briefcase, and if anything gets messy, I got your back. You know this. Come on, man." They do the handshake thing and they hug it out. More Money in the Bank stuff. Rhea Ripley with a video. Says, "Mommy's always on top. It wasn't a saying, it was a way of life. That hasn't been the case for a bit, though, has it? But at Money in the Bank, all that changes for the first time, and I'm in a ladder match, which means no one's ready for the brutality I'll unleash." She says, "I'll do anything to climb that ladder, grab the briefcase. EO Tiffany, hold on to those belts tightly. Nobody's safe from Mommy in the Bank." We've got Sammy walking around backstage. He bumps into Karrion Kross. Huge pop from the crowd when they see him on the Tron. He says, well, Sammy, look at you. Still trying to crawl your way to the top. You should have taken the deal and moved to SmackDown, but no, you had to do it your way." Sammy just sort of starts to leave. He's like, Kross says, "Hey, Sammy, you know you're never going to win the world title, right?" Sammy comes back and says, "I'll deal with you later, Jack."
Because Sammy's got a match tonight already. He's in the main event. Triple threat qualifier for Money in the Bank. Seth Rollins, as mentioned, wins this. Of course, there's interference from Braun and Bronson, injury specialists. So Sammy and Seth are trading hands. Seth sticks his fingers in Sammy's eyes, slaps Sammy around, but runs right into Exploder. Sammy's looking for a haluva kick, but Finn intercepts with a sling blade and drop kicks both of them. Looks for a coup de grace on Rollins. Misses. Sammy hits him with the haluva kick. Sammy covers, but then Braun and Bronson pull him out of the ring. Jay attacks them, super kicks them both. But Braun Breaker hits him with a spear, and then Sammy's sent to the post by Bronson Reed. Dom appears and slides a chair into the ring, like right in between Finn and Seth.
Yeah.
So Finn's kind of like crawling to pick it up, but as he's going towards the chair, Seth hits him with a stomp onto the chair to get the win. Afterwards, Punk's music hits. Seth's like, "All right, Braun and Bronson, go intercept them on the ramp," because Seth always has tunnel vision when someone else's theme hits.
Always, every single time.
So Punk attacks him from behind, hits him with a GTS. Braun and Bronson rush back into the ring, but Punk escapes through the crowd, and they're just talking a bunch of trash back and forth as the show goes off the air.
Yep. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if Punk ain't got nothing else going on. Well, unless they do like, I don't know, Punk versus Braun Breaker, Punk versus Bronson Reed at Money in the Bank.
They
But
could, but I feel like it's going to be a situation where Punk's probably in the ladder match. He's reaching for the briefcase. Braun and Bronson cost him the thing, and so he's going to have the match against Bronson Reed, beat Bronson Reed, and then I don't know, try to mess with Seth when he tries to cash in. Probably get foiled there. It's probably going to be Seth versus Punk for the title at Mania, and Punk will win it.
there you go. You booked it out. Done. Let's call it a day. So we got Jey Uso versus Gunther. Wait, next week?
June
Is that
9th.
next week?
No, it's 2 weeks from. Wait,
2 weeks. Isn't it 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
2
because
weeks.
next week, not this upcoming weekend, the weekend following.
Yes,
7th
correct.
is Money in the Bank. So
Yeah.
2
Yeah.
weeks away.
Yeah. So anyways, Jey Uso does the eat thing. Jey was he gets lost in his promo sometime, doesn't he?
Yeah,
That's
he
what
got
gonna
lost
say.
last night. Yeah.
He really got lost. He said, he says everybody's after the champ. Logan Paul got yeeted on. Cena's about to get yeeted on too. And Money in the Bank, it's me and my dog. So that brings out Gunther. Talks a bunch. He says, first of all, I came out here because congratulations, I do. This comes from a personal place. Congratulations on the 15-year jubilee of the Usos in WWE. Secondly, congratulations on your first successful defense against Logan Paul on Saturday. You're holding on to this title way longer than I expected. I can appreciate you doing everything to fulfill your position. You want to captain this ship here. You have your hands full. There's a long-term plan floating around. Your friends are in trouble when they need you. You're right there. No questions. They are great qualities for a human being, but not for a great champion. He says, I don't blame you. You don't know better. Unlike me, this position doesn't come naturally to you. Being a great champion isn't being there for other people. Guess how I was able to be champion for almost a year? I only care about myself. He says, I don't think you have the intellect to understand how to carry yourself as champion. When we step into the ring one more time, I'll relieve your position. I will choke you out and take that title back where it belongs, around my waist. Jey tries to instantly remember what he's supposed to say. He's like, you done? Are you done? I'm done. I'm done with it. Everybody's saying my days as champ are numbered.
And that's what he paces back and forth a lot.
He just starts pacing endlessly. I'm done with everybody using an excuse with this title to turn my back on people who brought him up. I do have friends and family. I fight for them, but they fight for me. Run your mouth on my life. You want to judge me? Go ahead. What you're fighting for is less than what I'm fighting for, Oos. Eventually, he just stumbles into his fucking catchphrase. 4 letters, 1 more yeet. He bolts out of there. Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, hey, you know what? He covers it better than others cover it.
Yeah.
Because Jey naturally is kind of an unpolished guy. And so it kind of like, it doesn't not work. It's just when the pauses are too long.
Yeah.
That's
It
when
really
when it's like, oh
puts the
man,
spotlight on.
let's find it. We got to find it, man.
Yeah. So we're getting Lyra and Becky again at Money in the Bank, which is great because their match at Backlash was awesome.
Yeah, that match was great. This promo was not, though.
It was kind of long.
It was, when it's funny when the good Lyra stuff, I think, has been Lyra responding to Becky as opposed to Becky responding to Lyra. And I think there's a difference there because, man, look, I don't care what the promotion is. AEW, WWE, NXT, Noah, New Japan. You go out there and you start recapping shit, it's dead on arrival.
Yeah.
It's dead on arrival. Becky said she was going to do this. Becky said she was going to do that.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't care who it is. You could be CM Punk. You could be Paul Heyman. You could be anybody. When you start recapping shit, I start to check out, man, because it's like, I know, we've been there. We know what happened. So she comes out, talks about what's gone on. Becky comes out because Lyra claims that Becky made it personal by getting into her weird fiance's face. And Becky comes out and says, oh, I made this personal. You cost me. I was done with you because I was on to bigger and better things. I won the night. I went home with my hot husband while you went to the